Anthony Hartwig here with another spring sports season preview. We are joined by the head coach of the South Range Raiders softball team, Jeff DeRose, coming back again for another year under the helm of the Raiders. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you asking me to be on.
You got it. And when we look at this, before we start talking about this season and all the excitement for the Raiders, let's just have a little recap of last year and some of the lessons that you think can be taken from everything the last year's team was able to accomplish into all your returning starters and your returning players that bring it into this year.
Yeah, so last year we had a really talented senior class. Three of the four went on to play at the next level, and quite honestly, Jamie Farron, who did not go on to play in the next level, could have. So we had a very, very talented senior class. We set our sights on the regional tournament when we start the season, and we ended up getting there. It was a tough road to get there, but I mean that's what we really set our goal every year, and so we ended up getting there. But it's those seniors that had a huge impact on the way the rest of the kids played. Julie, Sam Kelly, and Jamie, fantastic ball players, and going into the returning starters that you had mentioned for this year. So we've had a fifth player that was a starter last year that decided not to play, Madison Dado. She's running track this year to be with her sister. So we're pretty much a brand new team. We're putting five new players on the field who don't really have a whole lot of high school softball experience. So, however, I think we're still very, very talented, and we got our sights set right back on the regional tournament again this year.
When you talk about South Range over the years, you always talk about pitching, and you guys have not had a pitcher not go on to play in college since I believe 2010, if my memory serves me in the circle. So I guess the question is, what's next in the circle? Now that you graduate two really good ones, who's going to be next in the circle for the Raiders?
Well, right now, if I were to put a starting lineup in the field, Jaylee Wilt would be my number one go-to pitcher. She works hard. She got some innings last year and did quite well, and she's doing quite well this year. We've had three scrimmages, and she started all three. And it's time to get her back, to 7 inning form right now. She's only pitched the maximum of four, but we got a scrimmage on Friday against West Branch. She'll go there. Who knows how long she's going to go, but before we leave for our Myrtle trip, we have three games. Jaylee will get some work, and obviously, when we get down to Myrtle and we're playing every day, I'm gonna have to rely on other pitchers, and we got some really good sophomore pitchers. Selena DeJesus, Addison Wardle, and Ashley Rupert all can throw the ball well. So it's nice to have a whole bag of pitchers to go to when you need to, and it's a lot of teams don't have the luxury of having to be able to switch pitchers because they don't have anybody. They're not as deep as we are at pitching. So I guess we're fortunate. This year and over the last several years, we've been fortunate on the mound.
The stat I threw out, that doesn't happen without the ability to bring up a new pitcher that isn't as varsity experienced as what maybe a senior that left before. You've been doing that for a while. What's your philosophy in bringing on a new pitching staff and new pitchers that are new to this whole varsity starter routine, and getting them up to speed and getting them ready to go and compete at the high level that you guys play at?
Yeah, I mean it's just exactly that. It's putting them to the test, and we scrimmage good teams on purpose, and we play good teams on purpose. And we're willing to take bumps in the road. Wins are great, but losses are learning experiences. These girls are going to be put to the test. We're not looking for wins. We're just looking to get better for the tournament at the end of the year. But if I were to answer that question, bluntly, in the sense that they have to be on the same page as their catcher and Don Farron, who's he calls our pitches, and Don's got a hard job because one of our pitchers is a lefty. So we have certain locations that we hit, certain spin pitches that we do, and Don, sometimes it makes me laugh. He gets confused. I used to call pitches back in the day, and when I asked him to take that over, he took it over with open arms, and I don't want it back because it gets a little difficult at times.
All right, Don, left, right. Here we go.
Yep.
When you think of the rest of your roster, I know you lost a good senior class last year, but you also had young kids that stepped up on the biggest stage and got you big plays in the biggest games of the season. What does it mean to bring back that kind of experience as well?
It's actually an awesome luxury to have. And I told this year's team when we started out the season, our seniors, like I said before, were fantastic and they got us to where, we were in a sense. But when we got into the regional tournament and we had two really, really difficult teams, and on paper, we were underdogs in both games. We played Triway, who won the Division II state championship, and then Champion, who has a history of tremendous softball teams and great coaching. But it wasn't the seniors that won those games in a sense that we had returning players that this year that hit the ball to the fence last year and scored some runs for us. Namely Jaylee Wilt, Anna A. Um, Kira Brogan she's a sophomore, did well, and Ashley Rupert, who was given the job as a DP at the end of the year, all hit the ball very, very well. And, we're expecting big things from them. And I can't forget, we call her FedEx. Gretchen Bartels is our only senior that's on the varsity, and she's doing well. And then we had a player hurt last year, Riley DeChancio, who hopefully will be able to pull her weight both offensively and defensively. And Giada Pauline's hitting the ball very well this season so far. And I took the bat out of her hands last year because she wasn't hitting, but very, very impressed with her turnaround at the plate this year.
Let's talk about your schedule. We'll start with the league as we always do. The NE8 very tough. It usually comes down to you and Poland grinding it out, and every year it seems like those are the two rivalries. But then you also have very good teams in this conference that are always testing you. Lakeview is one of those teams last year that gave everyone a little bit of a scare. And when you look at the conference this year, what it's shaken out to be, what do you expect out of it, and what are you hoping to get out of it?
Well, exactly. You hit the nail on the head when you mentioned Lakeview. I mean, right now, I think that they're probably one of the strongest teams in the NE8. When we played them early on last year, we kind of had our way with them. I think we beat them 11-0, if I'm not mistaken. But at the end of the day, when we played them towards the end of the season, they got a heck of a lot better. And, they gave us fits. In fact, we played them out in Stowe last year for our second game because we couldn't just get the makeup in. And anyway, they're very, very good. And, not to discount any other teams. Hubbard's always puts a good team on the field. Poland, there's teams that are we're gonna be very competitive league again this year, or conference. It's going to be tough to win it, but hopefully we will. We have the ability to do so. And besides the NE8, and we schedule some very tough opponents like we do every year. Stowe, Talmadge, who won the Division II state championship last year. North Canton Hoover's coming to South Range this year. We go to the Priebus, and we have some, big D1 schools that we're playing. That's all on purpose to get better for the tournament.
And then, of course, you go to Myrtle Beach. We'll have to talk about that because it's going to be big on YSN. DJ Oakley will be down there with you guys and covering every one of your games down there. And
Yeah.
what's that trip always mean to you? We always ask it, and it's always kind of the same answer. But what's that trip mean to you guys this year? And what do you expect out of it this year?
Yeah, it's again, we're a very young team, and it's a great team building event for us. And I tell the parents, in fact, when we're having our meeting this Thursday for Myrtle, and I tell the parents that the girls once they check in on Sunday, they're the coaching staff's responsibility all the way till the end of the game on Friday, and it's good for them because we kind of give them free reign to do some things within reason, and they love the freedom to be able to do that kind of stuff. And we went down to Myrtle Beach. I can't remember how many years. It's maybe 14 years we've been going down there. And not going to knock on wood. I'm a pretty superstitious person. I think we've never lost more than one game down there. And we've had great teams. We've had good teams and average teams. And we've always seemed to play our best when we get down to Myrtle Beach.
I can confirm it was 14 years because it started my junior year.
So you're an old man.
with
Yeah,
with the class of 11 that got you guys, I believe, to their first regional since 2001
yeah.
that year. So that's when it started. I'm old.
Yes, you
Uh,
are.
I'm getting there.
Yes, you
Coach,
are.
when you talk about having 3 games before that, how much of a blessing is that to not be able to just throw your kids into the shark pool of Myrtle Beach, have them at least have the 3 games here in town before you head over to, obviously really good competition down there in Myrtle.
Yeah, it's great because there's an opportunity for us to figure things out yet even more. I mean, 4 scrimmages. I mean, if I can have 14 scrimmages, I would. I think there's no better preparation and planning than actually playing. We can only practice so much, and we've been outside, and then all of a sudden we're back in the gym now, and it's very difficult to practice an outdoor sport indoors. But those 3 games we play before we get on to Myrtle, it'll be a more of a learning experience not only for the players but for the coaching staff. And we're moving players from outfield to infield. We moved our shortstop to second base and back to shortstop, and it's crazy what we learn over the course of live repetition and scrimmages. So I think by the time we get down to Myrtle, hopefully we get those 3 games in. It'll be us solidifying a better lineup to put on the field. So we're looking forward to it because when we go down there, quite frankly, Anthony, there's a lot of times we're playing teams that have 10 games under their belt already.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gone down there before with 0 games under our belt. Although we competed well, it's just you can tell we were working out the kinks and they were already a little bit fine tuned and we weren't.
Coach, I want to give you the time to also talk about your coaching staff that you have with you and that makes this program what it is, what it's been for the last 14 years. Talk about the people that are with you, that are working with you, and the people that are carrying this program with you.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak highly enough about my varsity assistants, Don Farron and I've been coaching together for a very long time, and we think alike. It's scary. Thank God we don't look alike, but we do think alike, and that's a dig on you, Donnie. But in any event, it's wonderful to be able to coach alongside somebody that thinks like you. So there's no arguing or bickering, especially in front of the players. And a couple years ago, Melissa Starkey joined our staff as a volunteer. Brings a wealth of knowledge and experience playing for Akron University in her day, and has a very good rapport with the kids. She's wonderful to have, and she brings that element that I don't bring, and I always like refer to myself, and not all the time, but as a soft coach in the sense that I hear what the kids have to say, and I try to reason. And Starkey usually puts me back into my place, which is deserving in some regard. So it's wonderful to have her around. And then at the JV level, I got Drew Farron, and she's a new teacher over in Crestview School District. And I told her, when you're at school, please put your head down. Don't let the softball coaches see you because I want you back. She does a wonderful job at the JV level. And then her assistants, Lauren Pavlansky and Sarah Durr. Pav comes from a family of coaches, and wonderful to be around. In fact, when Drew's not there, Pav takes over, no problems. And Sarah is a second year coach. She's also a volunteer coach. She comes and it kind of lays the hammer down with the kids, just like a Starkey does for the varsity.
Sarah Durr laid the hammer down in basketball in her career, and I don't
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think there's anything that I am surprised to hear that she lays the hammer down as a coach as well. What's it like having a former player as well and Drew Farron come back to the program and help you guys coach?
Oh, it's great because she knows the system. I mean, we really haven't changed much at all since she's been around. I mean, we have fun, and she joins in that. And in fact, we talk a lot. And she said, "You remember you used to tease me, you used to call me Bennett, and because she ran slow, and I'd compliment some players, and she'd look at me and laugh. She goes, 'You never complimented me.'" And we would giggle and have fun around the kids. But at the end of the day, we're a very serious team, and although we mix business and pleasure, when we step on the field, it's all business, and Drew knows that. So
Coach, last question for you before we let you go. Obviously, this program got to Firestone last year. It's the third time as a program you've been to the state tournament. You keep knocking on that door. I know you're all hungry for that final trophy. What's it mean to this program though to keep getting there and keep getting on that doorstep, so that experience keeps getting put into these kids? Like, this is what it takes to get back to Firestone Stadium.
Yeah, and I think that they know because a couple of them been there a couple times already. Like Gretchen, she's been there. It's great because they know what it takes to get out of districts is no walk in the park. Especially this year. And when you get to the regional tournament again, when we went there last year, we had two teams looking at us saying that maybe they underestimated us. I don't know, but I can tell you this: we give every opponent the best that we have, and we did last year. So to get back to the state tournament, obviously regionals come first, and I always tell the team, get to the regional tournament because everybody is 0-0 again. You have no wins and losses, and neither do they. May the best team win. And it happened last year. Like I said, if you were looking at softball people who knew the programs, they would say no way South Range has a chance to win these games, and we did, and because we wanted it more possibly, and I think that this year may be no different.
I gotta tell you, Coach, those people that doubted you didn't know that you'd already been to the state tournament a couple of times, and
Yeah,
probably didn't watch you too much during the season.
yeah, we got things in our back pocket sometimes, Anthony.
Yeah, this is it's how you do, Coach. Thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it so much, and we wish you the best of luck this season. We know we'll see you out there, and we can't wait.
Yep, thank you. Have a great day.